you're poisonous, so I'm going to kind of run through my presentation. It's all a little bit squashed, but you know, that's the way of the game. I am talking about robots today. Very cool kick-ass robots. Not this one. 3D printers. I absolutely love these machines. I do a lot of the FDM machines, which is the plastic molting kind of technology. So you have quite a big different range, but what I focus on is this because they're quite cheap to run, and once you get to know them, they're pretty awesome machines. My background, I've been making games since just over the Y2K bug didn't happen. This is when phones still had buttons and color screens and shit had just come out. So I use games. I've always been into character design, just loved characters and games. Got into games because it was the closest I could see my characters actually coming to life. And for me, that's seeing the little character. Animation was my first step, and I was like, cool, my character's moving. But then games came along, and I was like, shit, my character's got a brain and it's moving, and really it's bringing it to life. Also developed a bunch of weird online. This is kind of before Xbox Live, so we developed this whole system where you could register, you could play for your country, you could unlock avatars, do awards, achievements. We actually made our kind of country scoreboard work to an actual room, so we could have little tournaments and stuff that would only work within the room, but still without having to change too much. People could upload scores, there's shout boxes there, people could comment and stuff. It was good fun, but the last time we actually posted something on here was about 2011. We were back when we were making games. Nokia, I don't know if you guys know them, you might be quite young, but Nokia used to be like these cool kind of phone guys, and this is way back in the day. And then, developed a lot on those platforms, jumped through so many different kind of dev environments and stuff. But then I saw this thing. I've been living in Singapore the last 8 years, and their technology was kind of very accessible and easy. Guys complain that they don't have cash to buy food, and they've got this giant 42-inch plasma in their kind of room. That's the tech is so easy and accessible there. So saw this thing, that little robot and the toys there kind of just solved it. I've been a 2D nut, 2D games since forever. I always had this fight in my brain about 2D games, 3D games, and where do I jump. This thing came along and kind of shafted me because I suddenly had to learn how to do 3D modeling and stuff. But after getting it, it really pushed, it made me be able to learn really quickly. That's the first little character that came out just over 3 years ago. I cannot tell you that feeling when you see something you've been constantly for years working on characters and stuff on digital. Very much digital, so to see that come out in real life in your hand, it's absolutely amazing. This kind of took me down a rabbit hole. I just started making little toys. I put some of them online for free, and through that process, Ultimaker got hold of me and we collaborate a bit. I do little toy ranges for them, and they give me some hardware, which is how I've been funding myself through this process. I've been really exploring kind of like what MP3s did to the music industry. I'm very interested in what 3D printing is going to do to toys, merchandising, and the collectibles. I think everyone's kind of looking at 3D scan yourself and print it and buy it, but I think there's kind of this real untapped, unknown kind of market that's yet to be explored. So what I do is I design little characters and I sell them the actual digital files online, and then if anyone has a 3D printer, they can then 3D print it themselves. This is a guy in Belgium. He prints amazing stuff, and it's just, I think the biggest thing for me is, this is the closest thing we've seen to teleportation at the moment. It's really I can develop something and within a few minutes across the world, a physical replica of the object I created gets printed out. I love this guy's prints. He has the same machines as me, but I don't know how he gets the quality he does. He must print for weeks at a time. Just some examples. These are just pulled off the net. Again, it's this kind of teleportation idea. I just love it. When you do a character in physical space, And also kind of it's enabling people that maybe aren't so creative. Like when you actually print something yourself, it really kind of puts it in your court now. So it's not something you buy out of package and there's your toy. You know, you buy it and it's up to you. If you want to print a massive one, you print it. If you want to do it in color, then you have to paint it or something like that. So just really, I love seeing like every time somewhere around the world one of these pops up. I'm also still kind of exploring the more traditional kind of toys, so actually airbrushing there, making collectibles, but the South African toy industry is I mean, it doesn't even really exist. It's, we had Toy for a while, they kind of got quite exciting, maybe this toy industry is going to spark, but when you say you make toys, people just think you do stuff for kids, and it's not really the case, especially in Asia, Japan, where I was saying it changes. It's toy culture there is massive. And the issue here is, you know, if you try to sell some physical objects and you're based in South Africa, your shipping costs are more than the toy's going to sell for. So it's kind of, you know, we're at the bottom end here. So again, that digital kind of style is what I'm really interested in. So I still do a lot of the game stuff. So this game, World of Rabbit, it's kind of a more well-known brand. So this is an example of, instead of doing traditional merchandising, I have little digital toy files, and at the end of each level you unlock this little toy file. If you have a 3D printer, you can then print it yourself. So just exploring that world. What is 3D printing? Idea, designed in CAD software, and you have a little machine that prints it out for you. I'm going to quickly go through this stuff. What it's doing to the space industry is absolutely insane. I mean, before, if you lost a wrench or something broke on the space station, you'd have to wait for a rocket to get sent up and all the shit and say, hey, don't forget to send me a spanner. Nowadays, they literally email NASA on Earth. They've now got a 3D printer in space, and this is the first object that's been printed out of space. And again, it's like teleportation. They needed this tool, and they're sitting on the space station. Literally, they send up a tool now. And thinking going forward for colonization, for like moon bases and things like that, instead of packaging all weird kind of shapes and things, you literally send up a few 3D printers and then just boxes of material, and you can really start creating interesting stuff. It's completely changing the prosthetics industry. That used to be super expensive. Now, you know, you can get a hand printed out, you can put designs on it, you can really change it. The cost is next to nothing. Guy on the left is the prosthetic, normally costs something like 75,000. One on the right's like a couple of hundred. So, and this guy really prefers the new version because it's a lot cheaper. It's if something breaks, he can just reprint it himself. He can customize the colors, like do what he wants. Everyone's like 3D printing takes so long, like you know, it's never going to really take off. A few months ago, this got launched on TED Global. This is 25 to 100 times faster than normal technology. So what normally takes 5.5 hours, this machine can now bang out in 6.5 minutes. This changes the game completely. Also, the big thing is there's no more print lines. Every single printer in this technology, it builds up layer by layer. So you always have these kind of print lines. This thing, they've added a layer of oxygen in between, and it constantly moves, so you actually don't get print lines anymore. It kind of blurs the whole object, so it makes it a lot stronger as well. He's also just got $500 million in first round funding, so it's coming. Guys are printing cars. I'm sure you've all heard about it. Pretty much everything's printed except the battery pack, and certain electronics and things like that. They started to print at the beginning of a car show, and at the end they literally drove it out of the place. Houses, so exactly the same technology that I use with melting plastic. Scale it up as big as you want, and that's a house printer there, so you can model the house you want and then use concrete and stuff, and you know, all sorts of crazy little new house. What I'm interested in, this is in Toys R Us in the States. They're just testing these booth kind of ideas where customers can come and choose the item they want, choose the color they want, the size, and it's bringing that kind of like feeling of you a bit special, you getting involved in the process. Amazon, these guys filed a patent recently for 3D printing vans. So basically you order an object and the closest van to you will pick up that order and start printing it as it's driving towards you. At the moment, Amazon's got a 3D printing store. They do a lot of FDM, the plastic. They do color prints, but the thinking is way more ahead than that. You know, where we actually order a pair of shoes, instead of those shoes being shipped, they'll actually be printed out in front of you. So where does this tie into games? As I mentioned, I do make games, and I'm constantly looking at this. I feel there's very much untapped kind of territory here, and I think especially in the merchandising, toy design areas. I just wanted to show a few things that's been happening. The Games Workshop, Warhammer, I'm sure you guys know, desktop game. First cease and desist letter ever came out on Thingiverse from these guys. So what happened is one of the players, for those of you who don't know, models are ridiculously expensive and they make so much money on these things. So this guy made a little replacement tank because he lost his tank. Put it on Thingiverse so anyone could download and print their own Warhammer tank. Got hit with a cease and desist letter. Why I bring that up is this shows you what impact this is going to have on things like the board game industry and merchandise and things like that. Where players like this, where they're lively, well, not they're lively, they're pretty loaded, but they're kind of, you know, their money comes from these little objects. With 3D printing, the democracy of manufacturing is really kind of challenging these things. Fingerprints, these guys are online. If you're really into your Minecraft model or something like that, you can send your Minecraft model to them and they'll 3D print it out for you. So again, it's this customized thing. It feels like your toy. Same thing with World of Warcraft characters. You develop your character, you can upload it to these guys, they licensed, and you can get a replica World of Warcraft character, which is quite cool. Board games, I mean dice no longer have to be these little plastic dice that you put in, that you buy from the China Mall. Like, it's literally, you can print dice that look and feel like a game as well. These are some silver stainless steel or silvered stainless steel dice guys developed online on Shapeways. Other things like just actual in-game integration. Guys are starting to come with APIs now where instead of going your more traditional route of developing toys and stuff, you can actually get the license with them and they'll model the characters for you and plug it into your game, so you can say buy this toy now and that will actually get them kind of 3D printed out for you. Another thing, so these are the in-app guys. You can literally partner with them right now and they will create the 3D printable files of your games, although I doubt you want to make your own. But my biggest thing is, you know, it's still in its kind of unknown territory, and if you're into characters and stuff, get a 3D printer. I promise you, in terms of just like merchandise and being able to create your own toys, and maybe it's not about the characters, maybe, you know, like you want to make little 3D printed arcade machines, like as a way to present your game or something like this. A little example, you know, like this is looks like just a standard little toy, but it's actually a little Raspberry Pi case. For those of you who don't know what a Raspberry Pi is, it's a cheap 400 rand computer. I mean, you couldn't run Unity on here just yet, but you know, it is coming, and it's a great way to just kind of display your stuff, especially if you're looking, you know, if you're around corporates and suits and stuff. Instead of giving them a flash disk with your game on it or something, you know, you can really jazz it up and customize it and make that tactile feeling again. Like, you know, because your games are so digital and so like unreal. Having 3D printing and stuff, it's bringing it back into this thing you can feel and touch. And it's amazing, you know. Make yourself an actual functional miniature Game Boy, you know. Maybe you brand that casing. It really makes such an impact. Little game controllers, instead of maybe using, you know, even get an Xbox controller, 3D print a customized plate that you can just stick on top to make it a bit more yours. So that's, yeah, basically short and sweet. I've got a studio downstairs. I'm sure you guys might have popped by there. Welcome to come have a long look, see the prints, see the qualities, have a chat, discuss around, and yeah, that's 3D printing. Any questions?